I'm new to the Epstein wormhole. We have been covering it, and so far, I've been at a loggerheads with a portion of my audience about the... I seem to be more skeptical of the idea that Trump might be a pedophile. Might be. However, with this latest revelation, I'm coming to your side. I know we've been covering this a lot, but it is my new autism hole, and finally, an autism hole that people actually want to click on. You have no idea how hard it was to get people to watch what was a lecture about the Byzantine Empire, thinly veiled as a comedy show. And I do emphasize thinly. As you may be aware, the Wall Street Journal just released a letter that could have been written by A1 Donald Trump to A1 Jeffrey Epstein. And it was all collected as part of a bunch of letters for his 50th birthday by A1 Ghislaine Maxwell. If you haven't read it, let's read it together right now. Voiceover. Fuck, Morgan Freeman's involved. There must be more to life than having everything. The note begins. Donald says, "Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is." Jeffrey, "Nor will I, since I also know what it is." Donald, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." Jeffrey, "Yes, we do, come to think of it." Donald, "Enigmas never age." Jeffrey, "As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you." Donald, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." I know that letter is marred with the particular context of what we now know about Jeffrey Epstein. And we know that letter was written, or if it even exists, was written before what we knew about Jeffrey Epstein. So, we are looking at it with that hindsight is a beautiful thing, but not in this case, but you know what I'm saying, the expression. In this instance, it really does sound like they're talking about a woman, at the very least, especially because it is written like the outline of a woman. There's a breast shape in it, and how good is this? Donald Trump's signature is the pubic hairs. Why does he want to be the pussy? That's so un-him. Look, if there's one thing that is in his camp of denying it and saying, "This is outrageous, I never write, this isn't my style," that's the one thing that I look at and think, yeah, I mean, you know, I always expected that Donald would be more of a boob man. Why is he the pubes? I'll tell you what is Donald Trump's style, though. He's gonna sue them. He does for everything, though. Remember when that movie was released about Donald Trump's life, and then his immediate response was, "That's it, I'm suing," everything. So that is completely unsurprising. What is surprising is that this was in Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal. I have my obvious gripes with Rupert Murdoch and the mainstream press in general. What I will say to them is that they are, and I know this from experience, very, very scared of getting sued. Especially by someone who is notably as litigious as Donald Trump. I think there was a point when he first came in his second presidency that he spent more time with his lawyers than actually governing. There was like a horse race of what meeting is he having in the Oval Desk today. That's the guy who they are coming up against, and they are putting this letter out. All I'm saying is they must have crossed their T's, at the very least. And with all this pressure, he has been forced to act. He is calling now for all of the grand jury transcripts to be released, which, you've got to say at this point, I'm on board with the rest of you all. Why would you be trusting of anything that this administration is releasing now? Especially because you have them saying, we have the raw footage of Epstein's night in prison being released, doesn't show the cell, has minutes missing from it, is clearly doctored footage. There could be rational explanations for it, but that's the facts of the situation. Now they're coming out and saying, these are the transcripts. Are they? Maybe. Maybe not. Also, it's not really what people are asking for anymore, is it? It's kind of just like everyone's saying, we want X. And then Trump is saying, all right, how about I give you Y? That's what you want, right? I think that's what you want. No, we want X. So immediately it makes you suspect that the reason that Y is being released is because Y is of no substance. Meanwhile, this is incredible. Politically, we could actually be seeing the demise of Donald Trump because we are witnessing something that MAGA seems to like more than Trump, and that is being hunters. I've never really thought about what the MAGA base is because it's just not my country. But if we were to just liken it to Australia, it's 2GB listeners. That's what it is. It's just AM talkback radio listeners all day sitting there being like, none in my neighbourhood, one's getting released. We should have their names. It's always that, just like, release the NIST. Who are the pedos? This is the base. That's what they're really concerned with. This is why everything else that Donald Trump has ever done, they don't care about at all. This is the only reason that they want a president in. Purely just to know who Jeffrey Epstein hung out with. That seems to be their only motivating animus. And this is the only... How ironic is it that this is the one thing that Donald Trump can't deliver them as the most powerful man on earth? And we don't know the reasons for that. These letters, I mean, you take from it what you will. I'm taking it from what I will, which is that it's really looking like the connection was they might have been a little more connected than just neighbours that hung out at parties every now and then. It really seems like, at the very least, that they've spit roasted a chick before, or maybe they've chucked a Mark Latham and done a hot Carl on one. That's like the best scenario at this point, especially because there has just been so much vitriol from Donald Trump on Truth Social to his own support base. I could tell you, as somebody who just covers politics relentlessly, yeah? The whole aim of the game is to shit on everybody else's base. When you're shitting on your own base in a Twitter that you invented for yourself. Damn, that's defensive. Holy hell, Donald. Going out at them just being like, you're all losers and stupid as well. And you're in it with the Democrats. He's trying to create his own conspiracy theory real time. But I think this is it. We have reached the limit. That we have found the thing that is actually animating MAGA. This is incredible. Like, there's been so many books that have been written about this. Who are they? What do they think? What do they want? I remember looking at journalists that would go into quote-unquote MAGA land, which is just, the flyover states. A journalist dare-braced steps in Nebraska to be like, what do you people want? And I don't even think that they knew what they want until right now. It's incredible. I have not seen a shift in somebody's support base like this before. So sudden, so unexpected as well. I don't think that anybody was expecting, for Donald Trump to handle this so badly. Because if I was Donald, or I was the Department of Justice, or maybe it's just the thing that everybody that he has around him is a podcaster that just can't shut up and is constantly looking for headlines and, clout and clicks. So he's just not around sound political minds that would have just said, look, if you've got a problem like this, what you do is you just keep doing what everybody... I've seen it all the time. This is what anybody, any bureaucrat, any politician, if they ever want to avoid something, and it's just genius, you just say this over and over again in a Senate hearing. You ready? I'll take that on notice. That's it. That's it. And then they say, hey, you took it on notice. Can you tell us about it? That was like a year ago. They'll just go like, yes, I'll take that on notice as well. And then they delay it for another year. That's what you should have done with this. Just say like, it's a very complicated file, folks. We got a lot of things to look into. A lot of very suspicious things. Very Bill Clinton-y, I've got to say. You just keep saying that for 4 years and then, too bad that we've only got 2 terms. If only I could run for a 3rd term, guys. And then even if you do break the Constitution like he is trying to do and get your 3rd term, do it and then say, unfortunately I could do it to the 4th term until death. That's the smart play. You can see it with the experienced legislators of the Republican Party now, because they understand, oh my God, the base is shifting from underneath Trump. The middlemen that are constantly sucking to get their positions in the current administration, to keep their seats in the Senate, in Congress, of endlessly just chanting that, Trump can do no wrong, to the MAGA base to keep getting elected, right? They are noticing this ground shift. And so you are seeing them playing this very delicate game. I've got to say, actually, it does show that it's a skill. Being a politician is a real skill. They simultaneously have to say to the base, I think it should be released. It's just outrageous. This is really, really bad that it isn't being released. And then also not voting for anything that gets it released, which also, to the Democrats' credit, I think we all know that they haven't been the most effective campaigning machine since the Obama days. this has lit them right online, hasn't it? Do you remember the wedge of them coming out and saying, all right, motion to release the Epstein files, and then getting the Republicans on record voting against it? That has to be the best wedge I've ever seen in politics. Wasn't that glorious? Oh, the egg on their face. And then that old lady just saying like, I think it's just got to be appropriate for the time. Are you 100 years old? How are you still in there? Like, you should have retired 30 years ago. So old in this God, this Senate, it's just like our Senate is old, but Christ, the American Senate, it's like they're cryogenically frozen and then reanimated to go vote in the Senate and then frozen again to extend their life out. But anyway, that's happening there. And then the Republicans in both Congress and Senate now are doing two things that I think are very genius political moves, right? They understand that the pressure is on them hard, like nothing else. This is kind of just like in the Soviet Union or something, where you just have Ceausescu just like living large, and then all of a sudden he just like, I'm giving him a chocolate, and then everyone's like, it's not enough chocolate, and then they just raid the palace. This is sort of what's happening now. You know, just a more lame pussy Western version of it. But they have to play this tactful game. Their first move is to sit there and say, okay, motion that we think things on the Epstein trial should be released, but we're not going to vote for it to being released. So that's their first thing, so that they can go to their base and say, look, I'm on record saying that I think it should be released. And then also not pissing off their boss. So that's, you know, it's good politics. It's good politics. You've got to give it to them. Then the second thing is, and I think this is another genius move, they are asking all their legislators to go home a couple of weeks early, and they're hoping that by the time they come back for the next term of Senate and Congress, that all of this will have blown over. And who knows, maybe. But I have not seen fury like this in the American public. And this is a public that riots all the time. And they're really pissed off at this. This is like nothing else, right? Like, this is just a very interesting sociological phenomenon that, you know, the destruction of their own government doesn't seem to annoy them that much, you know? Completely eking out the middle class doesn't seem to annoy them that much. What? Some are getting away with it? No! That's the thing! That's the thing. Maybe as well. Maybe they're getting away with it. But honestly, I think that it's more to do with Mossad stuff still. That's still my main overarching theory on this. And we will be discussing this on Red Thread. We will be uploading the entire video of that on this channel here, but just go subscribe to Red Thread. Also, I've got shows in Geelong. I think we added another one in Toowoomba. Brisbane's almost sold out. I think Canberra is sold out. That's for this month. Next month, I think there's some in Armidale and, you know, some of those other loser towns in New South Wales. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you very, very soon, probably, because every day something incredible comes out.